All right. Thank you, Laird and team. So I was in supply chain leadership my entire career. I had 650 employees in my organization at Northrop Grumman, and I'm very proud to say one of them was Johnny Park. So Johnny, very proud of you, man. And speaking of LinkedIn, I'm the only Wink Williams on LinkedIn if anybody wants to connect. So, all right, let's meet two emerging disruptors, Lazarus AI and Infinity Loop. Please welcome Leilancito.
Part two. Yep. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Always great when you get the technology session and the actual technology actually works, right? But presenting first is going to be Stephen Fay from Lazarus AI. He's going to do an amazing demo. They're honestly one of the most innovative companies we actually have at Plug and Play. They're currently on their way to being one of our first unicorns, which is a company worth over $1 billion. So, Stephen, take it away.
Gonna make sure it pulls up here for you guys. You guys can hear me okay on my mic? Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for having us and giving us the opportunity to come and share a little bit more about Lazarus AI with you all today. We're really excited to kind of showcase some of our capabilities across manufacturing, supply chain, logistics that could be, all very relevant for you guys here in the audience today. So while they're getting it up on the screen here, I wanted to give you guys a quick high-level overview of Lazarus, and then I wanted to save enough time just to walk you guys through a few demos so you can see how the technology works in real time across a few different use cases that are very relevant for supply chain logistics overall. So at Lazarus, we build proprietary foundation models and APIs, or AI models, that can ultimately automate any task across any document or data source without the need of training. So if you think of what we're really good at, it's extracting, classifying, summarizing, and providing various levels of advanced reasoning on virtually any form of semi-structured or unstructured data. That could be physician-level grade handwriting in over 100 languages, to faxes, scans, PDFs, video, images, audio files, and more. We've created all of our own technology from the ground up, including our own OCR models, layout engines, vision transformers, image, audio, vision transformers, large language models, and agentic capabilities that can ultimately have upwards of 99% data accuracy out of the box with sub 1% hallucination, with absolutely no training needed at all. So you've got the buzzwords out of the way today. Hopefully you guys have seen a little bit about agentic AI, generative AI, extractive AI over the past few days, and are starting to think about where the major use cases could be within a larger, transportation, warehouse management system, logistics company overall. So today I wanted to just jump into a few quick demos to show you guys how our models work in real time. Just to kind of preface, this is our demo UI for demo purposes only. So we are an API that can plug into any existing systems, portals, CRMs, wherever you guys are uploading or ingesting documents today. Is where we typically like to plug in our APIs and help automate certain workflows and processes across the board. So today I'm going to be showing our flagship Rikai 2 model, which is our most advanced model to date. It's a 256 billion parameter large language model that can do everything from extraction, classification, summarization, and provide various levels of advanced reasoning or generative capabilities, all while providing confidence scores and full explainability, or providing that audit trail so you guys can understand where exactly every output or result came from. But we do have a menu of different models that can do different things, from PII extraction to redaction to models that focus on extracting information from forms and invoices, to our own large language model, which is Riki 2, to our most advanced model to date, which is Rikai 2, which stands for Understanding in Japanese. So today I started with an 8-page kind of logistics document package, including a bill of lading, a certificate of analysis, order acknowledgement, and of course an invoice. And for any shipment or fulfillment to be able to correctly process through the value chain, all these documents need to match up with one another, need to have the accuracy to make sure that these shipments or fulfillments are completed through and through. So I'll zoom in a little bit here on the actual questions and prompts that we asked our models. So I know it might be a little bit hard to read here for you guys, but we asked, Rikai 2, basically, you are a quality control analyst in supply chain logistics. You received a COA, a bill of lading, an order acknowledgement, and an invoice from the supplier. Please extract and validate all relevant quality and compliance data from the documents to ensure that the shipment meets purchase order specifications and regulatory standards, while also flagging any deviations or missing critical values for further review. You can see how our models performed here in green and where the output came from. So in this case, we were able to extract the information from the COA, product details, quality assurance, and provide that compliance check. All quality parameters are within specified limits and no deviations were flagged. We can do that as well for the bill of lading. Shipment details, you can see all the information extracted along with the compliance check. Shipment matches the COA and order acknowledgement. No discrepancies in product description, lot number, or quantity were identified. For the order acknowledgement, you can see we were able to extract all the information and ultimately match it up with the COA and BOL. Delivery date and quantity align with the purchase order. And of course, the invoice as well, being able to extract that information and ultimately confirm that it matches with the COA, the bill of lading, the order acknowledgement, and that ultimately there was no discrepancies found. We can ultimately as well provide the regulatory and contractual compliance metrics, and of course we give you a summary of our findings. So all documents in this case are consistent and meet the purchase order specifications, and there's no deviations or missing critical values that were identified. So recommendations: approve the shipment for acceptance and proceed with payment as per the agreed terms. Like I mentioned earlier, we provide a confidence score. It comes out in our demo as low, medium, or high, but has an actual percentage score behind it so that our customers can set a certain threshold. If it falls below 90, 95%, maybe that's kicked out to a human for additional review, so you can still keep that human in the loop, as I know no one wants to rely fully on AI models these days. And ultimately as well, we provide that full audit trail or explainability. So our models are really purpose-built for truthful Q&A. We're purpose-built for heavily regulated industries. But as you can see here, we'll reference specific page numbers, specific documents, sections, clauses, to ensure that the results we're outputting are as accurate as possible. As well, going alongside the same route here with the same package, we can also extract all the information from the attached COA, bill of lading, order acknowledgement, and invoice, and prepare it for a transportation management system in a JSON format. So we can actually extract the specific fields that you guys would typically see inside your CRMs or TMS systems, and ultimately automate that process for you guys. As we know, that's just an extra step that people are having to then duplicate the information from documents into your internal systems, which by all means has a lot of quality and assurance problems and issues in a lot of cases. Now I'm going to go back here to kind of a second use case, because our models are very flexible across several different use cases or workflows that you guys may have today. But in this case, we're going to be kind of reviewing behavioral data, telematics data for truck drivers. And in this case, you can see I've uploaded a 7-page document, a table document of including vehicle ID, speed, RPMs, GPS, fuel level, and braking events. And in this case, I'll blow it up again for you guys. I've asked our models to basically act as a telematics analyst for a commercial logistics carrier, use the provided data set, including timestamps, vehicle ID, speed, RPM, and furthermore, to basically detect any high-risk zones and inefficient delivery routes, score each driver vehicle on safety, fuel efficiency, and route performance, and recommend any route changes or driver coaching to improve fleet operations, and output the information in a table format, for example. So you can see here, we only included 3 drivers just because we have a short time for demos today. But driver 1, you can see, has improved braking habits and optimized routes to avoid high-risk zones. There's some driver coaching recommended. Driver 2 is maintaining current performance, but should be monitoring fuel efficiency in high-speed zones. And driver 3 has excellence performance. Continue monitoring for consistent results. But we kind of pull some key observations from this. Where are the high-risk zones? Where's the fuel efficiencies? Driver 2 has the highest average fuel efficiency, while driver 1 has the lowest. Fuel efficiency drops significantly in high-speed zones, for example. Braking events, driver 1 has the highest braking events per 100 kilometers, indicating potential safety concerns or inefficient driving habits. And of course, driver 3 has the most optimal performance. He has the best route performance and minimal braking events, and is consistent with fuel efficiency, scoring an overall 9 out of 10. So what are some recommendations to help improve your other drivers? We could talk about driver coaching, route optimization, fleet monitoring, and of course, fuel efficiency improvements. And by implementing these results, the fleet overall safety and efficiency performance can be significantly improved. So just a quick example of how we can take in multiple forms of data, whether it's in a document, an image, a table set like an Excel or CSV file, which most other foundation models today, like an OpenAI, Anthropic, Google Gemini, typically struggle with, break in production, and provide a lot of hallucination around. And then third and finally, I want to show you guys a quick example around kind of the HR management side of things and how we can help you guys ultimately extract information from a driver's certifications, whether it's a resume, CDL certifications, their actual, driver's license or identity verification, and furthermore. So in this case, I've uploaded a 5-page kind of summary of both a resume, a commercial driver's license, a drug test report, and of course, the certification for a CDL. And in this case, I asked our models to basically, act as an HR compliance officer onboarding Andrew Jason Sample, a Class A CDL driver, review the attached resume, CDL certification, and drug test report, and ultimately cross-check if all these, metrics and identifications match. So identity, license, experience, drug tests, authenticity, and provide us a final decision. So we're a lot more than just traditional OCR or IDP technologies where they're extracting information from documents or data sets. We're actually providing those next steps when it comes to advanced reasoning, classification, and furthermore. So here's how our model performed in green. Obviously, we could match the identity, the name, address, contact information. We were able to confirm his license is a verified resume and CDL. He has some endorsements based on his resume: hazmat, tanker, double, triple, and has a TWIC card as active. However, though, the CDL image does not show these endorsements, so follow-up is required to confirm endorsement status. We could talk about his experience in past careers. We could talk about his drug test results. It looks like it's negative for all substances, so he passed there. And of course, we'll verify if the seals, stamps, and signatures all appear authentic, or could be possibly, AI generated, for example, at the end of the day. In this case, though, it is a pending final decision. Since he didn't submit his full driver's license, he only submitted the front of his driver's license, we cannot confirm if he has the correct certifications that he mentioned in his resume across hazmat, tanker, and double triples, for example. And we would need to basically have some follow-up action. So request a copy of the full CDL record for confirmation from issuing authority to verify endorsements, and also confirm the TWIC card status and validity. And so in this case, we'll do that here in just 1 second, but we can also map these fields out and ingest it into an HR management system or CRM, which I know there's a lot of adoption issues with those today as well. We can map out all the fields, all the information to ultimately automate that process and workflow. And then third and finally, we can actually send a follow-up email or create a follow-up email to send to Andrew for that additional information that we're requesting. So, in this case, dear Andrew, thank you for providing these documents and information for the onboarding process. We're excited about the possibility of having you join our team. But to complete the next steps, we kindly request the following information: CDL record verification. Please provide a full copy of your CDL. Please also provide us a copy of your TWIC card status so that we can confirm it's up and accurate as you suggested. So I wanted to showcase a few examples today so you guys could see how flexible our models are across different use cases. But would love to actually meet you guys today. We have a demo table here in the hallway, and if you guys have any specific use cases or documents, processes that you would like us to explore, we definitely welcome the conversation, and once again, really appreciate the opportunity and time today to meet you all. So thank you very much. We're Lazarus AI.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Up next, we're going to have Nitin from Infinity Loop. Infinity Loop is actually one of Plug and Play's portfolio companies, so I'm really excited for him to demonstrate what he's been working on.
Hello? Hey, guy. Where's the clicker? Oh, this is the clicker. All right, perfect. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Nitin. I'm founder and CEO of Infinity Loop. We're an AI platform for contract negotiations. By a show of hands, who's looking to cut costs at your companies right now? So about half the room. The rest of you, good luck. No, I'm joking. Pay attention. Could be helpful for you. So, my career, we were actually former consultants, right? We used to do restructuring work for Fortune 500 companies, and we noticed that companies were overpaying on their third-party expenditure, anywhere from 10 to 25%, and they didn't even know it, depending on what they were purchasing. And we would go in as consultants, fix that problem by developing methodology that we had learned on what actually is important, obviously was very data-driven, and was still doing all of this work manually across industries as well, whether it was pharma, technology, manufacturing, healthcare, so on and so forth. And we noticed that there was this huge skill set variability amongst the people negotiating these contracts. Everybody has different styles and strategies on how they're negotiating based on their own backgrounds and their own kind of ways of negotiating, oftentimes without the right data. So that's what led to the different outcomes. So what we wanted to do is actually streamline that and provide the intelligence in the form of data for them to actually go and execute. So the mission of Infinity Loop is to democratize that expertise in software form, so there's no need to hire expensive consultants to go do this work. It made no sense to us as consultants doing this work why the consulting firms got paid tens of millions of dollars. It's not that complicated, especially when we were 20-something at the time, presenting in front of CEOs and boards who actually listened to us. It was incredible. So that's really what we wanted to solve for at the company. So what we learned is that there's a lot of money being left on the table, primarily due to three main reasons. One is people didn't have those departments didn't have the right skills, they didn't have the right resources, and they didn't have the right technology. There's all these legacy systems like Coupa, SAP. They're more of a kind of approval workflows and all these other items, but nobody's really tactical on getting the results. That's the manual work is still done in spreadsheets today. And you research all of these suppliers and trying to come up with all of these tactics and recommendations to figure out, trying to get some sort of edge when you're going into a negotiation. So all of these things are contributing to that lost money being left on the table. So on average, like we said, we identify about 10 to 25%. Obviously, this is a significant amount. We have customers that are uploading billions of dollars and identifying hundreds of millions in opportunity that their teams can actually go and execute on. So we're designed for impact, right? It's not a fluff. It's not about time savings or anything like that. You're actually going to realize dollar savings through our platform. So a part of this image that we show here is basically a company uploading their contracts, right? Or we integrate with their existing systems like a Coupa, SAP, Oracle. They uploaded 139 contracts, about $90 million in spend. What we do is we actually have created a proprietary machine learning model that over 30 years of data, we were able to understand by supplier and industry, what are the different levers that are actually important in constructing a deal, both on the commercial and legal side. So there's about 50 to 70 different levers. We obviously have weightings for each one that's dependent on the supplier and industry. We then have created a scoring algorithm that essentially you upload a contract, we analyze it and give you a grade. So think of it like a school teacher would your report card on your actual contracts. and we'll be able to tell you, hey, on this $1 million deal, there's $200K in opportunity. Here are the 7 negotiation strategies you should take to actually drive savings. So it's about impact. We unlock the hidden value in the contracts themselves. We help your teams negotiate smarter. And obviously, we boost efficiency as well. Something that would take your teams a month to come up with the right information, we can do in about a minute. So we also focus on we make the teams focus on what actually matters, which is the client relationships, right? The supplier relationships that you do have. All of the manual work that they do right now has been automated completely. So about 80% to 90% of a procurement manager's time and your team's time is spent on doing this manual legwork leading up to the negotiation. All of that has been automated. So what does that mean? It means that there's a faster throughput of deals. So instead of managing 2-3 contracts a week, they could potentially do 20, 25. Also, in tangible benefits, the more contracts that you upload to the platform, the more results that you'll see and opportunity that you're able to unlock. The typical savings rates anywhere from like 12 to 16% is what we've seen consistently across industries. So the more dollars that you upload, the more opportunity that you'll be able to unlock. So some of our customers or companies that we work with, we operate in a variety of different verticals, tech, media, CPG, manufacturing, finance, healthcare. So we've seen it consistently across different verticals as well. So who's this for? It's for people like Nicole. Nicole is fictional. She's a procurement manager at a very large company. And she just wants to answer the simple question, did I get a good deal or not? Right now, you can't answer that question because it's extremely subjective, and you can ask your teams, they'll tell you the same thing. Oh, well, it was 10% over asking, so we ended up, settling for 5%. That's a win. Okay, but what does that actually mean relative to the market? How does it actually structure? Did we reduce risk as a company? Nobody's able to understand that. And what we wanted to do with Infinity Loop was provide that transparency and accountability, right? So the pain points that somebody like Nicole and her team face currently is like everything is reactive. Nothing is proactive in how deals get done. They don't know if they got a good deal or not. They're unsure. And oftentimes, everybody scrambles at the actual renewal time to get these deals done. So they have no idea if they even got favorable terms or not. Again, it's extremely subjective. So how we do this, right? So the platform itself, the first thing we do is after ingestion, we score all your contracts, right? We benchmark them, we score them, tell you where the actual opportunities are in the current state, to just shed light on kind of where the opportunities are. The second thing is we identify all of the savings opportunities as well as the strategies and recommendations within that particular contract, and it's tailored. So this is where the machine learning algorithm comes in, where we're able to provide the strategies and recommendations specific with the justification on how to actually realize, a 250K opportunity on this particular deal with, again, benchmarking data. So you're unlocking millions of dollars in potential opportunity, as well as the playbooks on how to actually realize it. The third piece is what we call a buyer brief. So this is an AI diligence module where you could type up any company name and website in the world, and you're able to get a full kind of analysis around that company. Do you have leverage with that supplier or not? Are you buying the right things from that particular supplier? Who are their competitors? What's different from the company you're looking to purchase from versus their competitors, as well as all the insights on how to negotiate with them, as well as all the contractual priorities and pricing that's actually relevant to them that you want to be able to take advantage of, and what the most opportune time is. Basically, think of it as like we're the CIA and we're giving you all this information about this particular supplier so you can actually get an edge as part of a negotiation. So the idea is that we give you the playbook, we give you the intelligence on that company, so your teams have everything they need now to actually go and drive savings. The other piece that we built is, along with when you're actually doing the negotiation, we've created a negotiation simulation. So all of the different variables that you have within that particular contract, both on the legal and procurement side, we're able to prioritize what you should ask for, tell you how to negotiate it, and as you go back and forth with the suppliers, dynamically we'll be able to tell you what you should ask for next, just to make sure that, okay, if a supplier does say no, what are you actually going to do to get the best outcome given the new constraints? So it's providing that, again, visibility and making sure your teams always know how to negotiate that best deal in real time. So the results you can expect with Infinity Loop, Like I said, average savings rate is around 12%. ROI is about 70x. This all sounds great. And people realize a ton of benefits for us, and we actually pay for ourselves as we kind of move towards it. The other piece, that's a direct benefit. In indirect side, obviously there's significant time savings, like 80-90% of your team's time is now spent on the actual negotiation, which is what matters, and unlocking the value within the contracts. And lastly, you don't have to hire expensive consultants. We've been there, we know what they do. There's no like knowledge or anything around that. You just use our platform. You don't need to pay millions of dollars to them. How do we get started? Very simple. All of our customers, we always do a proof of concept to prove out the value. You basically sign an MNDA, you upload 5 contracts, see the results for yourself. Oftentimes we say, select a good mix of live negotiations that you have now, as well as historical deals to see where you get that edge, as well as the playbook, so you can see the benefits before you even purchase. And then we do a kind of a full proof of concept where that'll be paid, where you can see and realize the benefits for anything that you do upload, and then you move to an annual agreement. For our pricing model, we just charge an annual subscription fee. It's based on the number of contracts and spend that you upload. So obviously, as you upload more, the more benefit and more cost that it'll be. Cool. Wordly around, book a demo. We want to learn more. The QR code's right here. But like I said, the mission of the company, democratize that expertise, find savings in your contracts, and get that edge with your suppliers. Thank you.
All right, Stephen. I don't know if this is on or not. Is it on? Hello? Testing? Okay, perfect. All right. Great job, Nathan. So, Steve, Nathan, you guys both have very different use cases in regards to how you guys are using AI. For Steve, you're tackling so many different categories, where Nathan, you're tackling a very specific one. Do you want to walk me through the difference of, how does it go from a piloted implementation? How have you guys been kind of working with your customers? Stephen, I'll start with you.
No, that sounds great. You guys hear me again? I think there we go. No, thanks, Landon, for the question. Ultimately, for us, our goal is to help you guys get AI into production at the end of the day. So we have customers that can get our models to a production-ready environment in as little as 2 weeks. But typically, and kind of similar to an infinity loop, we sort of have a 2 to 8 week process of helping you guys, one, get an NDA in place. We love to receive some sample documents and use cases that are, you guys are exploring or having trouble automating today. And then we'll help you guys and walk you through, which models to use, how best to prompt these models based on those workflows and documents that you guys would typically be looking at on a day-to-day basis. So that hopefully by the end of a 2 to 8 week process, you guys have a production-ready tool ready to implement, all via API to plug into any existing workflows that may be relevant for you guys. As well as, I showed you a few demos. That's not typically how you would use our tools in a production-ready environment. Ultimately, we would help you guys create, more or less a prompt library or Q&A library to that, where every specific document comes in across that workflow, you would have a prompt automatically ingested with that document into our AI models or APIs that would ultimately provide you guys that result or output in a matter of seconds. So, hopefully that answers a few of those questions there. But, if you guys have any specific, documents or use cases, we'd love to explore them with you, and I'll pass it over to Nathan.
Yeah, I think for us is we wanted to create a frictionless experience, right? It's like, I'm lazy. I just want to know what I need to know to actually go and execute. That's how we built the platform. You upload a document, you get the results, you go execute, you save money. So as part of the actual proof of concepts, that's exactly how users feel it, right? We've been there, been through the pain. Just upload the document, see the results, go and execute. And that's why we always do like that free pilot. When they see it with their own data, they're bought in immediately, and they're able to know, okay, I'm actually going to save money, or they actually go do the negotiation and they see money. So as soon as they have actually gone through and used the platform and negotiate with that supplier with our data, they're bought in immediately and they move forward. So that's the implementation for us. It's all about results at the end of the day.
Okay, so you know what? It's really interesting. We have two people with two very unique experiences. Stephen actually used to be a plug-and-play guy, so he's an alum, and Nathan obviously was a consultant. There's a lot of students in the room. Do you want to talk to kind of having how it is from going from one side of the table to the other, now that you're on the startup side, some of the things that you learned, how the perspective changed when working with technology, as opposed to being a purchaser of it or working through it, and then actually being someone who's trying to push it forward inside the industry?
Yeah, I can get started. And a mentor of mine always told me, is like, questions the status quo. This is to the kids in the room, like the students. When you think about the world, question the hell out of it, because you will find opportunity in everywhere you go. So that would be my advice. And I followed that. In consulting, I questioned, like, why did it have to be this way, right? Why are companies, getting paid, or consulting firms getting paid $30–40 million a year for advice? It makes no sense, right? So then you start drilling down and you think about, like, oh, okay, it's not that complicated. They just need to be kind of told what to do and massage things. And sometimes it's to cover their own ass too. That's also true. But again, to the students, question the status quo. We have this great opportunity with artificial intelligence now that is going to make, it's supposed to make your lives and work lives much easier, right? Find applications that you're able to do that, live through it. I think the strongest companies that will survive is the people that have felt that pain first and then using technology to get rid of that pain. So just follow that model and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Nathan just said, but also, being at Plug and Play for a little over 8 years, it was a really crucial part in building your network and brand. So being in rooms like this, going to events, conferences, putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation sometimes where maybe you're not a subject matter expert, but are there to learn more about that industry or vertical, we're all crucial pieces in helping me get to where I'm at today. So Plug and Play, we would see thousands of startups every year. We would meet hundreds of Fortune 100, 500, 1,000 companies, being put in similar rooms, talking with executives and CEOs. And ultimately, you start getting to understand industries, you start getting to understand business better. And being kind of an innovation consultant at the end of the day, it gives you an opportunity to learn specifics about industries that you wouldn't have the opportunity to in other roles or scenarios. So similar to what Nathan said, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. If you're not an expert in supply chain logistics, still come to these type of events. You'll meet some very interesting people that over time could, relate value back to you in several different ways. So that's some of the advice I would add to it as well. And, go for jobs and roles that, maybe you're not 100% qualified for. But if you're a quick learner, you're a hard worker, you put in the time, ultimately you can show some great results versus people maybe who have been in some of these spaces for, quite a long time. So maybe I'll just add that to the conversation.
Perfect. Well, I know we're at time right now. Got to get off the stage, but everyone please find Nathan and Steven. They're just at the demo station outside. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So go visit them in the exhibit hall. Going to give you an hour for lunch. Meet 3 people you've never met before during that hour. So we'll see you back. Program will continue in an hour. Enjoy. Also this afternoon, we're going to pass out raffle tickets to you. We're going to have a raffle at the end of the day. So anyway, enjoy.